Now that's the way I sound
in my mind. Wow. You guys look beautiful. Yeah. And it's so nice to know that you were me. So that's good. It gets better anyhow. So today we're going to talk about, why bother to be good? And I'm going to tell you several stories. And the first one I'm sure you're familiar with. It's about old Bernie Madoff, right? There was a guy who swindled thousands of people out of $50 billion. And he created a lot of pain and agony for a lot of people. And when did they catch this guy? He was 70 years old. And SEC and their brilliant wisdom said, we're going to sentence you to 150 years in prison. Now, I'll tell you, I'm 70 and I'm not too worried somebody give you a 150-year sentence. You might serve a quarter if you're lucky. So, this is the guy, like I say, who lived the best life. I mean, he went to the best restaurants. He had homes in all different parts of the world, right? And so, I'm going to suggest to you that there's a lot of people that would trade lives with that man, even though they know he's going to jail. They say, I'll trade lives. I want to be a billionaire for 70 years. Then you got the rest. Big deal. So economics is probably not too good a reason to be good. Now I'm going to tell you another story. And this one is about 3 brothers. I happen to be the middle one. And there was 2 other brothers who were great friends, right? And these boys were all raised Catholic. And they had this idea that they were the defenders of the faith, right? They just really believed in that Catholicism. Altar boys, the whole shot. So one snowy evening, this is in December, these boys are walking down by the corner of State Street and High Street. Right? And as they walk by, they hear this service coming out of this building. And this service is wild. There's music blaring, and you hear the shouts coming from inside of, praise Jesus, hallelujah. And we knew they weren't Catholic. They were like Baptists on steroids. I'm telling you, this happened in '52 when the mean age of those boys was about 12. So they were well past the age of reason. They knew. And they should have been able to not let me convince them of this next action we were about to do. So I convinced my brothers to make 3 snowballs apiece. We're packing them in just nice and tight, right? The other 2 brothers, you guys get on those double doors. Right? There's double doors that opened up right into the sanctuary. And here's the signal. Go! Those doors fly open and 9 snowballs bombard that congregation. And there's pandemonium everywhere. These people are bumping into each other. The old ladies are screaming. And we are loving it. Now we just shoot out of that. We knew nobody could catch us. We lived 4 houses down. On Elizabeth and High Street, there we were. But we went the back way, come to the house, and there was the outside entrance to the basement, shoot down in the basement and giggle. But the minister of that congregation, he wasn't totally dumb. He goes outside, and what does he see in the snow? Little footprints, right? So what does he do? He follows the footprints all around, comes to our little entrance into our basement. Aha! Then he goes to the front door, and we hear this boom, 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 and all the giggling stopped. Yeah. And it was bad because my dad was home when he answered the door. I mean, this was bad. He was a mean Mexican, I'm telling you. So that minister is telling him what we've done. And says, I want them boys out here, I want to punish them. And my dad says, nobody touches those boys but me. And believe me, we were touched. 2 days before I could sit down. I mean, we were touched. So, and the point of that is, even with that punishment, even with that hard whipping we took, we could look at one another, 6 months later, and just say, hallelujah, and we all laugh. Why is it being bad is so much fun? Well, I'm not being good because it's fun. Now, the third story, now this is an ancient one. This one happened 700-800 years before Jesus. And it's from the old Vedic writings. And this is about Arjuna, the warrior prince. Now, Arjuna had this king who was having some problems with his kingdom. He was getting some opposition. And so he calls forth all his warriors to defend his kingdom. And he says, Arjuna, you got to get out there and get to that battlefield where the other army is gathering. So he jumps on his chariot, off he goes. When he gets there, what does he see? There are some of his cousins in the opposing force. Now, he's really stuck. He's saying, I've spent my whole life looking for honor and peace of mind, and if I kill my cousins, I'm going to bring dishonor to my name, and I will never feel at peace. He thinks a little bit longer. What if I don't go to war? If I don't fight, I will have broken my vows to my king. The men who follow me, more of them will die without my leadership. So what am I to do here? This is terrible. I'm between the rock and a hard place again. And so he's crying, oh, save me, just like those Baptists, save me. And what happened? Oh, Krishna shows up. And Krishna right away corrects his first mistake. He says, mighty warrior, you were ready to slay all those who weren't your family. And I'm telling you, they are all your family. And so Krishna goes on, and he says, the wise mourn neither for the living nor the dead. And he says, never was I not, nor thou, nor those kings, nor will any of us cease to be hereafter. So that statement, when you look at that, tells us what? It tells us we are not bodies, because bodies cease to be. And thus, if we are not bodies, we cannot slay anyone, or we cannot be slain by anyone. So where is the peace? Where is the peace in this situation? Well, when Arjuna believes he's this great warrior prince and he has a family to protect, he falls into despair. It's nothing but pain and agony, and it's hell for him. But when Arjuna understands he is spirit and he is following the right mind, the peace returns. Arjuna at this time, he could be knee deep in his cousin's blood and he will be at peace. And that story reminds me of an old Course in Miracles lesson that tells us we have given everything we see all the meaning that it has. Now I look at that lesson and I take it to mean we have projected everything we see from our mind. And we have more than one mind. We can project from the right mind, or we can project from the wrong mind. And which mind you are projecting with determines what the body sees, what the body's eyes see. The form doesn't matter. And with this thought, what if you happened upon, what if you were around 800 years ago, or 800 years before Christ, and you come upon Arjuna standing there, knee-deep in human gore? You may think, what an evil man. You would be mistaken. That warrior path was Arjuna's path to God. He was following the dictates of his right mind. So once again, we cannot judge what's in anybody's mind. We cannot know what their state of awareness is up there. So we cannot judge any action that he does or what he says even. It's not for us to judge. We don't have the information to judge. And the beautiful part is when you finally get to that non-judgment part, that leads you to the happy dream. And the happy dream is nothing more than a state of being where all your actions are done from the space of love. Not special love. So what is special love? That's the love that has preferences. One person over another, one thing over another, one establishment over another. And this leads me to the conclusion that love, true love, has no object, no person, no place, no thing. Now let's pick up a baby, right? And we're looking at this beautiful little baby. Where do we go? Where do those feelings take us? I love this baby more than any other baby in the world. I love this baby more than any other person in the world. I love this baby more than my own life. And while many of us have been programmed to believe, oh, this is love, I'm telling you, it's a mistake. You are mistaken if you think that's love. Love is when you pick up that baby, you look in his little eyes, and what do you see? You see you. You see unity. That baby is you, and you are it. Wow, that is love. Now, with a baby, that's pretty easy to do. But give it 15 years, and it knows how to push our buttons. It knows how to break all those expectations we have of it. And it is pretty hard to love a teenager, yeah. But, however, we know that we need to move in the direction of unity. That's where the peace comes from, bringing that into your life. Okay, let's remember Bernie Madoff, right? What did he do? He went out there and he got money, and he took money from other families to provide for his family, right? Now he thought that he was doing the right thing, but what made him do that? I'm telling you, it was fear. He was in so much fear, he could not see that everyone was his family. He could not see the beauty of the oneness. Now, remember those 5 little boys? Yeah. How could they disrupt that loving service to God? These people believed they were worshiping God, and those boys did not a very loving thing, right? So how did this come about? It happened because they believed all those wild people were in opposition to them. If it wasn't for that, they were separate, right? They were them crazy Baptists, whatever. Those snowballs would have never flown into that congregation. Do you think they could do it to their own? No way. They went in there and threw snowballs at the priest. They'd be ducking, right? They'd be ducking those thunderbolts from heaven. Whoa. So, it had to be separation that caused that non-loving act. Oh, I can see I lost some pages, but anyway, we know the direction we have to move in. It's always love. Love is the answer to everything. We can get beyond the Bernie Madoffs or little hellion boys. We can get beyond that if we do not look at that separation. So where do we find the love? How do we do it? How do we get there? I'm going to suggest to you that first, we stop trying to be right. Because what does being right mean? It means somebody else has got to be wrong. And there we have judgment. And what else? We need to let others be who they are. But most importantly, we have to practice unity. How do we do that? Once again, I'm going to suggest that we do it with the easy things, right? We start with that little baby. We start with a dog or a cat or something that doesn't give you some static. It's easy to feel that connection. I mean, you extend that love. Every day you go, you get it out there further and further, and the little teenagers will come in that circle, and all those society things that you hate, they will all come. And what happens when you bring them all together? I'm going to tell you what happens. You are free. You are free. Free as God created you to be. Namaste.
Can I get a hallelujah?
Yeah!